Welcome back to another episode of the Olivia Gamber podcast. And I am your host today, Olivia Gamber. And today's episode is how to build an unshakable mindset. And mindset is everything. It's the foundation for where we take our lives, the decisions we make, what we even believe is possible. And now on my journey through not only being a mother, building and scaling two companies to seven figures, starting from scratch all over again, all doing this while having a special needs kid and leading clients who are in the top 10, 5, and 1% in the country to be able to break through financially, emotionally, mentally to get to that next level in their life. I have developed what I believe are the five biggest belief systems that I know lead to success and resilience and having an unshakable mindset. And in order to really achieve at a high level while also living an aligned life, you need to have rock solid beliefs. And the five beliefs I'm going to walk you through today are really rare, but this is what I see with those people in that top 10, 1% of achievement. You do not get there with a mediocre mindset, and you do not get there with belief systems that match the masses. So I'm going to go through each of these five. And first, before I get into that, I want to talk about why does it matter what your belief systems are and why should you become more conscious of them? Well, first off, your belief is really driving 95% of your decisions, whether you're conscious of it or not. And we're not conscious of most of our beliefs. They're hardwired into our brain. And a belief is simply a thought that's been thought repeatedly over and over again until it becomes hardwired into a belief. And we have the same thoughts over and over again on autopilot. 99% of our thoughts are the same day after day. So when you can change your thoughts and start to shift those beliefs, you will dramatically change your life. And it always starts with the belief. So you'll hear me say this over and over again, whether it's with my team at Career Evolved, my clients, but it always starts with the belief, because your belief determines what the potential is. And that potential is going to determine your motivation, which is going to influence the action that you take. And then the action you take determines the result, which ultimately feeds the belief. So it all starts with that belief. And so many folks are just unconsciously accepting the beliefs that come from their environment, that come from their past experiences. And that's why they continue to stay in the same place year after year, and they do not evolve in order to break through to the next level for themselves. So now I want to get into the top five beliefs. I'm going to start with the most important one. And this belief is I am responsible for everything that happens or fails to happen in my life. And I want to say that one more time because this is so important. I am responsible for everything that happens or fails to happen in my life. Now, this is really based off the principles of extreme ownership and taking full accountability and responsibility for all outcomes in your life. Not only is extremely empowering, but it's extremely rare. Extreme ownership is a rare bird in these woods because so many focus on blaming their circumstances. They're blaming other people. And when you give all the blame and all the power outside of you, you lose your energy, you lose your confidence, you lose your conviction, and you lose your most important power of all, the power of choice, right? And so our God-given power of choice is really, as human beings, we're the only animals on the planet that can truly choose our self-concepts and how we see ourselves. And if we see ourselves as completely powerless and we see ourselves as a victim of our lives and a victim of our circumstances, we stay stuck. We stay stagnant. And don't get me wrong, yes, there's situations where you become victimized, but it's not until you take your power of choice back, because you always have a choice and you always have a decision that you can make. And you are always just one decision away from dramatically changing your life. So that is, again, the most empowering belief, is to start to own it all. The good, the bad, own it all. Yeah, it's not easy at first to own the bad. It's not easy to own the losses. It's not easy to own the pain. But it's only then can you move through it and up out of it. So again, this one is really powerful. Again, really rare, but I am responsible for everything that happens or fails to happen in my life. Without this belief system, there is no way I could have built a 7-figure business, because I would have always chosen the sob story, and I would have always just chosen the old story that it's hard, and I wouldn't have stayed in my power to continue to push through and push up that hill and stay committed to that journey by taking ownership of everything that was happening. The second belief is I have everything I need. I am everything I need. And this was a huge shift for me. And don't get me wrong, there's always something to work on. There's always a way to get better. But if you're constantly operating off this belief system that I'm not ready, or I just need to keep working on myself, you stay stuck in this pattern of perfectionism, of getting ready to get ready to get ready, and overanalyzing, over calculating. And honestly, you don't make a decision. A lot of the thought patterns of what's not happening, what's not working, what do I need to fix, how do I need to over calculate and over strategize, it keeps people from action, because they want to see the whole staircase before they take that one step. They want to know that it's all going to work out to plan before they start moving from A to B. They want to see A to Z. And this is where you've got to start to ground yourself in the moment, because you can only create the future from the present moment. And you can only create forward momentum with decisive action. And so the belief that I have everything I need, I am everything I need, is an empowering place to trust yourself to make that next decision, to take that next step today that can dramatically move you forward towards your goals, towards your dreams, even if that means just reaching out to someone to get that next answer, but knowing that everything you need is within you right now, and starting to support that conviction and self-trust that you always have what you need to figure it out. You may not have all the answers, but you have the capacity to get to where you need and get what you need to move forward. So continuing to believe and feed the belief, I have everything I need. I am everything I need. That is what breaks the patterns of perfectionism that I see so many high achievers get stuck, because they're so scared of failure. They're so scared of judgment. They're so scared of rejection that they never move. They don't take action, and their desires don't turn into anything because there's no decisions. And each time you make a new decision that's aligned with your future, you are already accelerating your process. If you stay stuck in perfectionism and analyzing and working on yourself, there comes a point where you gotta kick the training wheels off and say, I'm ready, I'm worthy, I've got this. It's my time now, and it's go time. And no matter where you're at on your journey, your transformation, your healing, your learning, your growth journey, you still have everything you need in this moment to make that next decision and take that next step. And it's that hesitation, that self-doubt of not feeling enough that keeps people stagnant. It's the lack of movement. It's the lack of decisiveness. It's the lack of being willing to trust yourself. So this is such a powerful one, especially for any perfectionists that are listening out there. I personally am a recovering perfectionist, so I know too well that when you don't trust yourself and you're constantly in that pattern of needing to fix and work on yourself, you don't have the momentum and the conviction to make those decisions and rapidly iterate on those decisions so you can break through sooner than later. The next one is there is always an abundance of opportunity for me. So the reason belief number 3 is all about abundance, because abundance is a mindset. It's a belief system. And I believe that there is always more than enough opportunity out there, but you must condition yourself to see it in order to seize it. And when you're thinking from that vantage point of there's always more than enough opportunity, now you're motivated to take massive action. If deep down you truly believe there's not enough and that you don't have what you need, because maybe you just don't see the abundance, you've lost before you started, because you've already created so much internal resistance that you don't believe there's enough out there for you. Whether it's like you feel like your market's too saturated, or you feel like there's too many people doing what you already want to do, so there's not enough space for you, or you don't feel like there's enough jobs in the market that you're targeting. Well, if that's the case, then you've lost before you started. So you either need to pick a new path or change your belief. Either way, that is a gridlock that you can't move past. And here's the truth. If there's a lot of people doing something, that's actually a signal that there's a massive market and demand for it. If you don't see anyone doing anything, that would be a moment for pause, meaning that perhaps there's not a demand there. And so starting to shift that perspective and that thought process and start to see it from a new lens is going to be required for you to really break through at a high level. Because in order to really be able to create, that abundance, you need to have that belief system that there's more than enough. And that's the foundation for really achieving at a high level, because you have to be willing to show up consistently and take massive decisive action again, but you have to see it to seize it. And it all starts with the abundance mindset. The fourth belief is I am worthy of living a life of my dreams. And this seems simple, right? But I see it so many times with people that have stayed stuck. They keep settling. They keep lowering their standards. They keep rationalizing that, yeah, this is good enough, or maybe I'll just wait around a little bit longer. And they convince themselves that what they're settling for is what they deserve, or they convince themselves that that is the best they can get. And deep down, when you see people continue to settle for less than they truly desire and deserve, it's because there's a worthiness issue. They don't feel worthy of their life that they deserve. And maybe it's because they didn't grow up with people that were able to set that standard that it is okay to dream big. It is okay to pursue your dreams. It is possible to achieve big goals and have a family, or it is possible to achieve big goals later in life. Whatever it is, it all starts with that worthiness, because there's an abundance of opportunity out there for all of us. It's never been easier to create opportunity with, now that we've got the whole planet opened up with technology and our ability to literally connect with across anyone in the world. There's no limit on the amount of opportunity, but we must truly believe we're worthy of it before we're ever going to go all in and get after that, because most people settle. Most people are living a mundane life. Most people are going through the monotony and just not living a passionate life. And if you are here and you're listening to this, that means you are in desire of a passionate, fulfilling life. And that means in many cases, if you're part of a community, you are going to be the leader, because those that can see a greater vision than their current environment are the rare leaders. They're visionary leaders. And in order to truly rise above your environment, you must have a strong conviction in yourself and your worthiness to receive all of those goals, and a strong conviction that you know that you can do this. And it sounds so simple, but again, you have to really get to the root of it, because especially if you come from an environment where no one does follow their dreams, nobody is living a life that sets their soul on fire, then your environment is the number one place that influences your belief systems. So I would encourage you, if you're listening to this podcast, to find new communities to engage in that will support and cultivate a group of folks that are actually thinking bigger for themselves, that are actually pursuing their dreams and not settling. And that's going to continue to nurture your belief system that, yeah, I am worthy of my dreams and I don't need to settle. So that's number 4, worthiness. I am worthy, I am worthy, I'm worthy. It's really one of the root cause belief systems that keeps so many people thinking small and settling, because for some reason, when they start to think bigger than their environment, or they start to dream bigger than their community, they immediately get beaten down by guilt or judgment or shame, because they don't, others in their environment may not feel worthy of their dreams. So why would they see and feel that you're worthy of yours? This is where you must start to break out of those old containers, or you're never going to break through. The last one is the most important one, in my opinion, for anyone that's going to achieve greatness. This is belief number 5. Other people's thoughts and opinions of me are none of my business. I repeat, other people's thoughts and opinions of me are none of my business. And this is a tough one if you're a recovering people pleaser and you're used to kind of accommodating everyone and trying to keep the peace. If you've been constantly needing to appease the people outside of you, receive validation and acceptance from those around you, you will be limiting yourself, because anytime you're trying to do something great and you're trying to do something greater than maybe anyone around you, you will be judged. You will be misunderstood. You will be laughed at. You will be criticized. And so if you're not being criticized, you're not being judged, then more than likely it's because you're not doing anything new. You're not trying to push the boundaries. You're not trying to push your limits. And so I just want to say, if you start to receive criticism and judgment and you're on that path, celebrate it, because that is a sign that you're starting to break out of the containers from the past. And it's a sign that you're expanding not only your energy, but your ambition and your results, because people do not attempt to tear down anyone that's below them. They only tear down and project their judgment, because deep down, it's so sad, but so many people have given up on their dreams a long time ago. And so there's something activating and triggering about seeing someone that you know going all in and taking that leap of faith and going after their dreams and goals unapologetically. And it is going to trigger people, because like I said, most people are settling and living a mundane life. And so once you choose that I want better, and you actually start to go after it unapologetically, be prepared for criticism. But nobody great that achieved greatness was ever a people pleaser, because you can't, in order to climb up that hill, you can't bring all these people with you, because most are really not going to align with that. So as you're evolving, you want to start to also evolve who's around you and who's supporting and amplifying that mission, and who's aligning with it and who's not. And one of the hardest things that me and many high achieving business owners, professionals have realized is the people, your family, some of your close friends are actually the least likely to support your new venture. And it's because sadly, we've been conditioned to compete with each other and compare. And it just brings up a lot of insecurity when someone you know starts to achieve greater than you. And the sad truth is, a lot of folks want you to do great until you're doing better than them. And that's where it starts to get uncomfortable because now you become a reminder that they're still in the same place as you keep growing and moving. And it starts to become more and more uncomfortable to connect with them because they haven't evolved. So you have to keep going back down here to connect with them. And that doesn't serve you. And that just creates resentment and tension in the relationship. So that doesn't mean you have to cut them off, but you got to let them go and create that space so you can keep going on your journey and start to create space for those that can evolve with you onto that next leg and help up level you to the next piece of your journey. So again, other people's opinions of me are none of my business. The sooner you block out that energy and put those earmuffs on and just focus and lock in on your lane and your energy, that's your internal guidance system. When you're trying to get your guidance system from all of these people outside of you, you're never going to get there because everyone has an opinion and they're going to be swaying from every direction. But it's not until you can trust yourself, your intuition, your conviction, your inner knowing, that's when you really start to accelerate because you're no longer looking outside of you to drive yourself forward. So these are the top 5 beliefs. And again, the best way to really build those beliefs is to start to really journal it out. Well, why is that true for you? Or what beliefs do you need to let go of in order to really create this new mindset and identity? And whether it's with your career or with the spiritual transformation, we can help, whether it's through our Cove spiritual transformation or Career Evolve. We've got a lot of ways that we can support you on that journey. So just reach out and continue to do the work because you can't build a belief system in a day, but it's all about that repetition. So just the fact that you're here, you're listening to this podcast, this is already feeding new inputs into that mindset. If you want to change the output, change the input. Start to look at who are you following, who's in your news feeds, who are you connecting with on social. If you start to shift that energy, what those inputs are, that's when you start to see how you're expanding your mind, your motivation, your inspiration. Start to pay attention to that because that's how you're going to change your life. That's how you're going to accelerate your goals. And that's how you're going to break through sooner than later. Well, this was a quick, short episode. I hope it was helpful. And if you know anybody that could use a boost in their mindset, please share this with them. And I will see you guys next week.